is going to need some pretty sizable brakes, and the braking system includes ABS and 4 ventilated discs. And once there's a quartet, we'll be one step nearer to creating permanent all-wheel drive, moving along one high-tech and state-of-the-art Murcielago Roadster. The interior of this Roadster is both extreme and exclusive, with the leather upholstery going for an asymmetrical look, a modern appearance where the left seat will be different from the right. Everything will be accessible to the driver, with the factory employing a design known as pilot-oriented, meaning if you're in the driver's seat, you're in a very cool and precise kind of cockpit. Meanwhile, back at the carbon fiber room, the crew prepares the center console for the next major step, a procedure that also requires many yards of batting. The console has been covered with resin and layers of carbon fiber, but it will take a couple more important steps to make the piece solid. Now comes the vacuum fitting, where all of the air will be removed from the atmosphere surrounding the console. The absorbent batting will take care of the excess resin, and the lack of air will force the layers of carbon fiber to bond together. Once the vacuum fitting has sealed the deal, it's onto a stage that is about as big as it looks. We head into a monster of a tank known as the autoclave. The autoclave is both extreme heat and high compression, a chamber that basically cures the fiber surface. It's a don't try this at home procedure that moves us one step closer to a completed Murcielago Roadster. To be a supercar, you should be 3 things. You should be exotic, you should be powerful, and you should be expensive. An extra bonus that really helps: be Italian. With Ferrari, Ducati, and Maserati within 25 miles of Lamborghini, we are visitors here in the very heart of horsepower.
Here, this is the country of the engines. Coming to Italy to design a car, knowing what we know about car design, you can forget all about it, and just you are basically fighting against another culture of car making.
Lamborghini is the best. Lamborghini. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, 100.000 lira.
And while Lamborghini's neighbors have a lot of pride by way of having the shop in the region, the definition of pride comes from the workers at the plant. This is a crew of specialists who don't rush things, especially their work.
No, we don't want. I mean, our main purpose is to keep exclusivity and to keep, the car very exclusive. Don't make too many cars. People are very proud to do and to make this kind of product.
People like Guido. He's a machinist and he's in charge of the crankshaft.
In fact, 23 years working in Lamborghini.
Guido readies the crankshaft for the mammoth task of the day, putting together the 12-cylinder engine for our Murcielago Roadster. He starts out by inspecting the milled steel crankshaft. And now that it's been inspected, it's ready to find a home. As prep work starts on the halves of the engine block, the edges will get a better fit once the flashing is removed with an air file. And since it's an $85,000 engine, there's nothing wrong with smoothing out the irregularities on the outside of the block as well. Soon it's time to bring the two together, and the first stages of the block assembly are underway. With the crank in place, the next task is all about the installation of the 12 pistons. It's 12 bits of precise work for 12 heads and 12 arms of sheer force, building an engine that is the hands-down favorite of a certain test driver. The engine with a dozen cylinders of power.
Well, the best engine is for sure a 12-cylinder. This is the most complete engine. The typical exotic sport engine is a 12-cylinder.
When he arrived, Luke quickly learned about the love this place has for its V12.
With Valentino Balboni, when I was introduced to him, he told me, "Oh, you're the engine bonnet designer." And I said, "No, I'm designing the whole car." I said, "Yeah, we do the engine, you do the dress." And it's exactly what it's all about.
Next, it's all about taking the camshafts from raw, forged steel to Lambo perfection. And when this cam is working in concert with the rest of the engine, well, you can forget the radio if you're a real Lamborghini driver, because the only music you're gonna want to hear is the song coming from that engine.
Lamborghini is 12-cylinder, not 8-cylinder. 12-cylinder, musica, musica.
The way it sounds, the way it is balanced, you know, and you can get a lot of torque, a lot of power.
12-cylinder is perfect.
Before long, the camshaft receives some miking. This is a process that happens at almost every step, with a different micrometer for each task. By miking, the workers can measure to make sure the machine did its job. And since the Murcielago has a twin overhead cam, 4 camshafts need to be checked for our upcoming ride.
I'm a guest here, and the engine is the main business. I'm making an auditorium for the 12-cylinder orchestra and nothing else.
If an engine is an orchestra, then this would be the string section, the cylinder heads. After an hour of deburring and a quick acid wash, the cylinder head moves on to meet up with a cool little camera. An arthroscopic camera checks for fractures and irregularities in the metal. And there's yet another set of checks and balances as the cylinder head temporarily meets up with the valve covers. Now that the cylinder heads and the camshafts have met up with the block, it's time to prep the motor for the next phase of this engine build. In this area, the V12 goes through pressure checks and cam timing. The valve covers go on, now protecting the 4 finely milled cams. And that's just one way of saying that this 12-cylinder orchestra is almost ready for its premiere performance. But first, it needs its work of art intake manifold, but not until it gets checked out. Dress rehearsal, the dyno, hooking up engine to computer and checking out all of the mechanical elements on this power plant. Lamborghini specialties, such as the torque and the horsepower. To nobody's surprise, the test was a complete success. And now, it's time to introduce this engine to its new home.